Sonic, it is known as America's drive-in. It's another iconic franchise brand that's grown to over 3,500 units since they formed in 1959. But how did Sonic get so big? How much does a franchise cost? How much can I earn? And is Sonic a good investment? We'll look at that today on Franchise City. So Sonic was started by Oklahoman Troy Smith, who once his Army duties came to a close, he purchased a hot dog, hamburger, and root beer stand. It was called the Top Hat. And at the time, he started at the crack of dawn delivering bread. He'd work all day and then work day and night at the Top Hat. And when Troy and his new partner, Charles Pape, tried to copyright the name, they discovered that Top Hat was already taken. So at the time, America was fascinated with all things atomic, so Sonic seemed like a good tie-in. 1959, the first franchise agreement was drawn up, and royalties back then were 2 cents on every hamburger. The car hops on roller skates were added in, and by 1970, Sonic had almost 100 locations and were doing $12 million in gross sales. They went public in 1991, and the Two Guys car advertising campaign started in 2003. It's become one of the most popular QSR campaigns in history. Sonic is no stranger to innovation, and they recently introduced a new burger, you might have seen it, that blends hamburger meat and mushrooms. Apparently about 30% of the burger is mushrooms, which seemingly is better for the environment and has lower calories than their all-beef version. Your estimated initial investment to begin a traditional Sonic drive-in ranges from about $865,000 to $3.6 million. That includes your $45,000 franchise fee that you're going to pay to Sonic. Your maximum royalties are going to be 5% of gross sales and are actually based on your revenue. Brand fee is 0.9. Advertising co-op is 3.25. Now, currently there is a development incentive by way of amendment that's found in their FDD. This provides a reduction of advertising co-op fees of 1.5% and royalty fees that are reduced scaled on your revenue. Your location is also part of the calculation, and royalties will be influenced by whether you are in what's called a core or developing market, a new market, or what year you open your location. So basically, the royalties increased on revenue. So the more you make, the more you're going to pay. But in grand context with other brands, Sonic franchise royalties are quite reasonable. So for new markets, you'll pay 2.45% up to $125K, 4.82 at $216,000 monthly. Core and developing markets are 2.45 up to $83K and 4.66 at $116 and above. The CEO of Sonic Corp, his name is Clifford Hudson, and despite having specific political views, Mr. Hudson limits those views publicly. He was recently quoted in an interview saying, "Our franchisees make big bets on doing the right thing with the brand, and by big bets I mean they bet their futures, their homes, their mortgages, hopes, and aspirations for their kids." Speaking to keeping his political views at a minimum, Hudson said, "You've got to be careful where you step." Now that's it. It's not a big secret, however, that Mr. Hudson has been a long-term financial supporter of the Democrats and the Clintons, and was at one time appointed by then President Clinton as board chairman for the Securities Investor Protection Corporation. This is somewhat ironic, as Hillary Clinton was very vocal, some of you might remember, on what could be considered obscene pay packages for American CEOs. Now, a few years back, Mrs. Clinton used statistics from the Economic Policy Institute, citing the fact in 1965 CEOs were paid 20 times more than the average worker, while in 2013 that pay grew to 1,800%, a 296-to-1 ratio. So CEOs were paid 300 times more than a worker, and workers' pay only grew 32%. Average pay for a CEO, $15.2 million. A worker is $52,000, and I'll bet Sonic workers aren't paid anywhere near that. So how much is Mr. Hudson paid to run Sonic, you might ask? Let's take a quick look. According to salary.com, for 2017, Sonic CEO pulled in $3,155,000. That works out to about $12,570 per working day, assuming that every working day was attended. And that's a lot of mushroom burger. During his stay, Mr. Hudson has created a rare senior management team that is comprised mostly of women and minorities. His board also is predominantly including the same. Mr. Hudson says that growing up in a segregated neighborhood formed his current business views and position. A few things that you want to be aware of in the FDD. Page 5, item 5 states that if you have not found a suitable location that's approved by Sonic within 6 months, that contract could be terminated, and they're going to keep $15,000 of your $45,000 franchise fee. Item 17 on page 25 refers to rights of termination, and you don't have any. There's a 20-year term on traditional stores with one 10-year renewal available to you, and you should be aware there is a non-competition covenant that requires you to have no involvement in any competing business for 18 months within 3 miles of your former Sonic store, within 20 miles of any Sonic restaurant, even those under construction. So how much money can I earn with a Sonic franchise? Well, Sonic is one of the few franchises that actually lists their earnings on their website. And here we'll take a look at a screen capture. You can see that the earnings range is actually so large as to be almost useless data. For franchise restaurants, the range of earnings is $164,000 to $4.1 million. Now, what Sonic doesn't tell you, and this is taken from Sonic's 2017 FDD financial report, as you can see, the earnings of the lowest stores have been shrinking from $213,000 in 2015 to $190 in 2016 to $164 in 2017. Average gross sales also dropped from $1.2 in 2016 to $1.25 in 2017. And this is a trend we see in many food franchises and is likely attributable to the massive levels of competition in the marketplace. You drive down any street, there's tons of food shops. Now, the franchisors can manipulate this data in any way to sound as appealing as possible. Taken from their website, it's a great time to own a Sonic franchise, and Sonic franchise owners saw average gross sales by stores increase $1.72 million in 2012 to $1.252 in 2017, with 25% of our stores exceeding $1.5 million in gross sales in fiscal year 2017. Now, you see what they did here. They reached back to 2012 and ignored that pesky data point the year before that would have indicated that gross sales actually shrank from the prior year. Now, if you're an investor, this chart is going to be of interest. It outlines, based on geographic location, what store revenues have been. And as you can see, it looks like the South and Midwest don't frequent Sonic as much as their West and Northeast counterparts. So what do you think? Is the mushroom burger a good idea? Have you had one yet? Is Clifford Hudson a good CEO, or is he overpaid? Will Sonic continue to grow, or is their brand on the decline? Leave your comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell for ongoing updates. If you need help finding a franchise, call the experts at Franchise City. If you'd like to browse franchise opportunities, visit us at franchise.city. And thank you for watching.